All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be around the world. It is your boy, Ali Mehdaoui, and this is What's New with ME. And today we are living in one of those cycles, the kind where serious things, absurd things, and celebrity things all collide in the same 48 hours. And everyone online is yelling, half the internet is confused, and nobody is explaining how any of this actually works. So today we're going to slow it down. We're going to talk about it. The Epstein file dump, the Federal Reserve Chair and why markets lost their minds, and their Grammys, yes, their Grammys, somehow becoming part of the same conversation. No conspiracy music, no panic, no agenda, just facts, context, and a little satire. Because if you don't laugh a little, this stuff, well, it gets heavy real fast. Roll the intro. All right, let's start with the topic that made everyone's group chat go cray-cray. Segment 1, and that is the Epstein file dump. What was released versus what people think was released. So let's talk about the Epstein files, because the internet heard file dump and said, oh, good, today we cancel everyone. That's not actually how it works. Here's what actually happened. The Department of Justice released millions of pages of material, and we're talking documents, emails, logs, images, as part of a legal transparency requirement. Not a trial, not new charges, not a dramatic court reveal, just a disclosure. Now, here's what you need to understand, and this is important. A name appearing in a document is not evidence of a crime. I'll say that again for the people in the comment. Yeah, you, that one right there. A name in a document does not equal guilt, does not equal involvement, does not equal wrongdoing, does not give proof of anything. Large investigations work like this. When prosecutors collect evidence, they collect everything. Contact lists, emails, phone numbers, calendar entries, third-party motions, and yes, rumors and unverified statements too. Because investigators don't get to decide what matters before they look at it. So when a file dump happens, what you're seeing is raw material, not conclusions. Think of it like dumping every note, highlight, and sticky tab from a textbook onto the floor and saying, all right, class, figure it out. That's why the Department of Justice itself has already said this release by itself is unlikely to produce new criminal charges. Why are people still upset? Well, now, let me be very clear. People are angry for the understandable reasons. This case represents real victims, real trauma, real failures of institutions to protect people, and transparency matters. But transparency without literacy turns into chaos. And chaos doesn't help survivors. It just feeds algorithms, kind of like what the news media is doing to you right now. So if you actually want to understand what matters in these files, here's how adults read them. 1. Primary records beat speculations. 2. Corroboration matters. 1 document means nothing. 3 independent sources matching, now that's different. 3. Specific actions matters more than associations, dates, places, behaviors, not vibes. And lastly, and this is crucial, justice doesn't move at the speed of Twitter. Sorry, X. Which brings us perfectly to the part of this story that somehow made it into the Grammy stage. Yeah, segment 2. The Grammys. When pop culture accidentally touches a live wire, yes, the Grammys, where we went from music to immigration speeches to an Epstein joke to a president threatening legal action, because apparently nothing can just be normal anymore. So hard results, facts first. Let's start with what actually happened musically. Bad Bunny, he won the album of the year. Now that's historic. Kudos, my guy. Why? Because It's the very first all Spanish language album to ever win a top Grammy. That's not politics. That's just culture catching up to reality. This wasn't about genre. It was about acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that American culture is multilingual, it is global, and it's evolving. Whether institutions are comfortable with that or not, well, that's up to you. But then the tone shifted. A joke referencing Epstein landed during the broadcast. Some laughed, some didn't. And suddenly the Grammys were no longer about music. They were part of the national news cycle. This is what happens when unresolved issues don't stay resolved. They pop up everywhere, even in places that are meant for celebration. Which brings us to the topic that doesn't care about jokes, red carpets, or feelings at all. Money, 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 money. Segment 3, the Fed chair and market shock. So why one name can move every asset you own. So let's talk about the Federal Reserve chair, because when the headline hit, markets did not politely react. They panicked. Gold dropped. Silver dropped hard. Stocks recalibrated. Crypto flinched. And half of the country said, why does this guy matter so much? So here's the answer. Markets don't trade reality. They trade expectations. You're hedging against the future. A Fed chair isn't just a person. They are a signal about inflation tolerance, about interest rates, about political independence, and how hard or soft money will be. So here's how the shock actually travels. 1, a more hawkish perception means higher interest rates for longer. 2, higher rates raise the discount rate, which lowers stock valuation. 3, higher real yields hurt non-yielding assets like gold and silver. 4, a stronger dollar pressure commodities and global risks assets. 5, high beta assets, yes, including crypto, feel it immediately. That's not fear. That's just math. Now, and this is key, the initial move may have been an overreaction. Markets don't do this. They sprint first, ask questions later. But the message was loud and clear. Leadership perception still matters. So let's zoom out. What did we actually learn this week? 1, transparency without understanding creates noise, not justice. 2, markets are emotional, but they are emotional for structural reasons. 3, culture, politics, money, and media are no longer separate conversations. They are one ecosystem. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of it, that's normal. Congrats. You're human. The world is loud right now. That's why slowing things down matters. If you value clarity over chaos, context over clickbait, and conversations that respect your intelligence, this is What's New with ME. I'm Ali Mehdaoui. And if you want more content like this, visit vmestudios.net, and we'll see you next time.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.